Round number 21 of the Ryco Performance Friday Night NiS Top Split takes us to the Pocono Mountains, where 36 of iRacing's best take on the Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. Good evening, everybody. My name is Nick Stein, joined alongside Joe LaCastro and, of course, Austin Derbyshire up in the production truck, and it is going to be a good one. It's Pocono. It's the Cup Cars. 80 laps here tonight. As you see, we're zooming in on the Google Earth track map here. Ah, man, the Pocono Mountains, always such a beautiful region of the Northeast United States here, and also known for its great racing, the Tricky Triangle here. And, you know, got to introduce my good friend Joe LaCastro. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing real good, Nick. I'm excited for racing at Pocono. I love this track now. I've gotten a chance to chew it up a little bit, watch a couple different types of cars go around it, and I gotta say, the Cup cars are my favorite.
Oh yeah, the Cup cars at Pocono, also one of my all-time favorites here. And if you're just now joining and wondering why you're hearing a couple of different voices here tonight, we'll get into that a little bit later, but I believe, Joe, you got some keys to the race for us here tonight.
I do. Now, everyone's been watching Pocono a little bit this week. They already know 3 different turns here. That's 3 different disciplines. You can't use the same technique throughout all 3 turns of Pocono. You can't go from one side to the other and repeat the plan. It's all a little bit different. So you got to stay on your toes and realize you only got 3 chances, not 4 here. No banking on many of these turns as well. Very low to no banking. So even though there's a wide, flat areas for you to work with and to ride the high line going around the corners, if you don't brake appropriately, that lack of banking is going to really hurt you. And that takes you right into the third one. Out of turn 3, you enter the longest straight in NASCAR right now. So if you get a great exit out of turn 3, you can use that straight for drafting purposes, passing purposes, really take advantage of it.
We're going to get into our broadcast picks here. I'm going to go take the 10 car of Zach Rinker here. I feel like he's got himself a pretty good car down in the 12th spot right now.
I'm going to go with Garrett Maines. Watching during qualifying, he's got the number 1 car. I'm going to go with the number 1. I'm going to keep it easy. I like nice high numbers, and Garrett Maines is really good looking.
And, of course, Austin Derbyshire taking the 54 of Sean Conklin. Garrett Maines up in 4th position. Sean Conklin up in that 2nd spot. And Zach Rinker down in 13th position right now. That is your race picks here tonight. And as I was saying, you may be hearing a couple of different voices here tonight. Austin Edstrom and Sheldon Adkins, the normal guys, calling Ryco Performance Friday Night NIS Top Split, both out of the office here. They will be back next Monday more specifically, for Indianapolis week. But for now, you got me and Joe, but we're going to go ahead and head straight into our starting grid here tonight. And it's a stacked one here tonight. Nicholas Vroman up front with a 53.877. Sean Conklin to his outside with a 53.907. Joshua Watson to hit, in that 3rd spot, making it a Ryco Performance 1-2-3. Garrett Maines actually makes it a 1-2-3-4 here for Ryco Performance. He's in the 4th spot. Cody Terlind in 5th. Clayton Hoffman going to round out in 6th place. Jacob Schneider 7th. 8th place going to be Tommy Gossett. Patrick Gitter in 9th. And Daniel Nanny is going to round out your top 10 here tonight.
Going into 11th place, it's Roger Pierce. Then Joseph, Joe squared. In 13th place, Zach Rinker. 14th, Paul Bergoli. 15th, you have Austin Fitzgerald. 16th, Jose Acosta. 17th, it's Jason Maines. Maines. And then Nolan Hodgson in 18th place. Noah Bitts in 19th. And Shane Parrish in 20th.
Starting off in 21st position tonight, going to be Johnny Baldridge with Thomas Kolmancheski in that 22nd spot. Miller Bonds, 23rd. 24th tonight, going to be Matt Hollabaugh. 25th, going to be Shane P. Davis with Matt Cox right behind him in the 26th spot. 27th, going to be Kyle Trudell with Alan Pajari in 28th. Nicholas Padovich in 29th. Sean Rogers is going to round out your top 30 here tonight.
And continuing into 31st, we have Luis Becerra. 32nd, it's James Holzer. 33, Kevin King. 34, Maggie McGuire. 35, Vincent Crow. And 36, the end of the grid, Bailey Jelinas.
36 cars for your field here tonight at Pocono Raceway, and we're expecting a good one here tonight. 80 laps for these guys, expecting at least 2 stops here tonight for these guys. It's going to be a good show. Pocono, known for the draft, known for the racing, known for the many cars wide, going down into turn number 1 with the widest, not only the longest, but the widest front stretch in NASCAR today. And man, it is going to be a good race here tonight. If you're just now joining us, welcome on in. It's going to be a good one. It's Pocono, always a good race.
I'm really excited to see the start of this race. I'm super excited to see how the drivers keep it nice and straight, especially in turn 2, which can be one of the first places that you start to see things really heat up in this race, since it is such a different situation. It's the tighter of the 3 turns. In this triangle, it's the right angle, basically. So it's much different than the other 2. It's not quite as forgiving when you can't go flying into it compared to some of the other ones.
Yeah, of course, all three corners. Different bankings, different radiuses, I believe. Turn 1 based off of Triton Speedway. Of course, turn 2, the famous Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and going into turn 3 based off the Milwaukee Mile. All different bankings. I believe turn 1 is 14 degrees, turn 2 is 9, and then I want to say turn 3 is 11. Quote me or correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I believe that is the bankings here at Pocono. But working our way down the short shoot off of turn number 2 down towards turn number 3 to get this thing going, and man, you could just feel the excitement in the air for these guys.
Absolutely. I was just in sim about an hour and a half ago to get a driver's eye view of what you see in the middle of the draft at Pocono, and the answer is not much, given that this banking is so low. When you're close to the car in front of you, it's not forgiving at all, and if you've got a little bit of room to work, you work with it, but you end up losing a lot of speed.
Yeah, coming up off of turn number 3, of course, no turn 4 here at Pocono Raceway. Green flag out of the air here, presented by Ryco Performance, and it is actually a pretty even start. Nicholas Vroman gets beat off the line by his teammate Sean Conklin on the outside, and you're already starting to see the draft come into play here. Someone looking 3 wide to the inside down to the turn number 1. Going to be Sean Conklin leading these guys down into that first turn. Nicholas Vroman getting kind of caught sleeping on this restart here. He's going to fall back all the way to 3rd as Garrett Maines gets around his outside, and now he's going to have to find a spot quickly in the draft, or he's going to get freight trained around the outside.
Absolutely. If he falls down to the outside here, when the train is already forming, you can't take a risk and try to drive your own line too soon. We've got 80 laps here. There's going to be some guys who are going to think, I should be tire saving a little bit. I can't go fall down and start charging into the wind. I'm going to be driving my tires down much further, much sooner than the guys behind me. You're going to want to fall in line just a little bit. At least I would.
And now we're going to see the first rendition of the Draft Fest that Pocono is known for. You're going to be seeing these guys hitting top speed down into turn number 1. 192 miles an hour for Garrett Maines down into turn number 1. But I wouldn't be surprised if some guys were hitting 194 to 195 with the draft. And we're already starting to see the effects of dirty air here at Pocono. This place is known for how bad the dirty air can be. And you kind of saw it on lap 1 going through turn 2. A lot of people getting really tight on the exit of turn 2 there. But we'll have to see if these guys kind of do the same thing here, as you see something, a little bit of a risky move there. Going around the outside, I believe. Is that Daniel Nanny in the 30 around the outside of turn number 2? You don't see that very often.
Yeah, I think if you're looking at the number 2 car there, I think that's Jacob Schneider, actually, who was going down on the inside of Daniel Nanny. It was a very risky move, but it looks like he found his way back up into the line. We have somebody else on the outside now, though. Who is that? That's Acosta. Jose Acosta now losing places as he falls back a little bit down on the outside.
You saw there off of turn number 3, Paul Bergoli got up into somebody and got a little bit loose. Now he's in turn 1, kind of overshot the entry and got really tight and really close to that outside wall. Keeps it off the wall, though, and keeps it going. Daniel Nanny to the inside of, I believe that is Jacob Schneider in the 0-2 there. You see, once again, that outside line is not where you want to be in the Cup car.
No, you can see every time someone goes out to the outside, it's feeling like if they don't have the speed, it becomes an immediate miscalculation, and you end up falling away as the train just passes you up, and you cannot get the speed on the outside out of these exits in order to make it worthwhile unless you really know Pocono.
Yeah, you really don't want to be on the outside at all at Pocono. In my experience, it usually leads into a lot of tears there, as you see right there. Garrett Maines and Clayton Hoffman getting a little bit tight in turn 1 there. Made a little bit of contact. Apologies being tossed out there, as Hoffman does get back up into the draft in front of Josh Watson there. And it is once again, excuse me, single file throughout the field.
Yeah,
as this is...
Oh, go on.
Oh, I was going to say, as this is customary for Pocono for the beginning of a run, just, single file, trying to save as much tire as you can, because the more tire you save now, the better you're going to be in that long run, and that is the calling card of the Cup card. Save as much tire as you can. As you see a couple of guys dipping out of line, maybe trying to break the draft or gain a couple of positions here, as I believe that is Daniel Nanny making another spot up there further back.
Absolutely. I like this. I call this the Sunday drive. When everyone's driving more or less respectfully, you've got a few attempts at passing, but you're not yet at that stage where folks are getting frustrated. You're not yet at that stage where passing is a necessity. There's no stage points here. You're just trying to survive the drive for 80 laps. And this single file driving that we're seeing, these little 1-2-man passes happening, this is the Sunday drive. I'm kind of enjoying it.
Yeah, there is no guarantee that it's going to stay calm as we get further and further
That's
into
true.
this race. As you see, Joseph losing a couple of spots there. Patrick Gitter around the outside of turn number 3 here. Seems to make it stick, which is interesting. I don't remember ever seeing a lot of outside passes. You see Nolan Hodgson right behind him get a little bit loose off of 3 there. And now draft becoming a big thing here. Patrick Gitter with a huge run on Paul Bergoli. He makes a move to the inside, down into turn number 1. Bergoli trying to hold it around the outside there, and he does pretty convincingly as well.
Pretty convincingly, absolutely. He looks like he knew when he could get back safely on that gas, and he saved his position. Even moving up now, making his pass on Gossett. Very confident driving from Bergoli right now as we are coming around into lap 7.
And you can see just how powerful the draft is here at Pocono. I mean, that's where 90% of your passes come from. If you get a good enough run out of any of the corners here, you're pretty much set up for a move straight into the next corner. We're going to see it right here, I believe. If Garrett Maines wants the lead, he can take it from Sean Conklin here. It's just a matter of if Garrett Maines actually wants to take that lead, or if he's just going to bump his teammate there. And it looks like he's going to continue the bump draft, keep this line moving. And it's kind of, the fuel trains that you see at the plate tracks, everyone just running single file trying to log laps. I think that's kind of what we're seeing here, not really seeing too much shuffling for position, because, that's going to kill speed off and leaves you more time than it gains you.
It is, and everybody's riding that line all the way up to the wall, following the car in front of them. It's a lot of heavy drafting, but if you look at the front, these two teammates, Conklin and Maines, they're turning into the turn almost simultaneously. The reflexes are fully in gear, and they are not even a hair's breadth away from each other, bumper to bumper most of the time. It's mesmerizing to watch.
Well, that's what happens when you get the highest iRating drivers all into a race together. They tend to do the same things as each other because, it does actually take skill to get this high up on the iRating. You see the iRating graph there, and that is a lot of high numbers there. You see Garrett Maines with the 9,600 iRating there, Sean Conklin with the 7,800, and those are inconceivably high considering, 2-3 years ago, you would have thought 5K was really high, and now we're seeing these guys push the 10,000 iRating threshold.
It's really something. That was part of the reason that I picked Garrett Maines tonight, was that I saw, like, oh my goodness, he's almost pushing the 10K number, and he's toward the top. It would be a safe bet. I'm learning my way around some of these new series that I'm calling every once in a while, so I might as well start picking some names and picking some favorites. And seeing iRatings like this, seeing driving like this, you know exactly why they're here. These are the best of the best.
Yeah, best of the best for sure. And you see Nicholas Vroman losing a spot there to Joshua Watson. Vroman continuing to fall back here. He's fallen back 4 now from where he started on that pole position. He did get to the inside. He's actually making a pass for 4th position there, but he did get back to the inside of Joshua Watson here and trying to work his way back up into that 4th spot.
He didn't quite have the speed on that inside, and it's interesting to see when someone makes that dive to the inside, there is a good chance on some of these turns that if you decide to dive on that specific turn, like through turn 2 here, if you decide to dive on that turn and you give it the gas at the wrong spot, you're going to come out and you're going to spin that car. And I'm certain that's going through some of these guys' heads as they fire into turn 2 and try to make these passes on the inside. But Vroman now able to make the pass. So maybe it paid off for him.
Vroman with the slide job there, and you saw a clinic inside drafting throughout that last lap, and now Joshua Watson going to be the one getting freight trained as he's got a lot of cars behind him. Jacob Schneider, Daniel Nanny, Roger Pierce even looking to get in on this, as well as kind of things starting to ball up a little bit here as Cody Terlind to the inside of Nicholas Vroman now for position, and Joshua Watson not sure what all's happening here as he's got 4 or 5 cars now looking to get past him.
Little bump from Watson to Terlind, it looks like, just a touch of contact up on the outside there, and still on the inside, stuck there. Schneider down on the inside line, but he's got every once in a while someone behind him giving him his own little train to push. But it looks like they're hesitant to give him a little bit any further assistance.
And you saw right there off of turn number 2, Roger Pierce slapped the wall. He looks to be fine, but he definitely did slap the wall, and that's one of those things. If you hit that wall a little bit too hard and just the wrong way, things can go from bad to worse, as you're already starting to see the draft games take place here. 11 laps into this thing, and we're already starting to see people wanting to break the draft. Jacob Schneider now making a dive bomb on his teammate Joshua Watson. Going to try the slide job off of turn number 1. He gets it to stick. Watson has to stay in line. Gets a little bit loose in front of, I believe, that is Roger Pierce and Daniel Nanny now fighting for position as Roger Pierce gets to the inside, but he gets side drafted by Nanny.
And up there at the front, Conklin and Maines still nose to nose or tail to nose there. It's the two teammates up at the front. I don't think Maines has any reason to pass Conklin at this time. Let them run up at the front, and hopefully with the two of them working together, they will be able to increase the distance, but there's nothing increasing. The guys at the front are all within 2 seconds of each other, all the way down to Tommy Gossett. So that's 10 cars within 2 seconds of each other.
Yeah, everyone is just saving tires, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some people saving fuel as well, because, you know, you got the draft train going. As long as you're not losing multiple seconds a lap, you can stay within the draft and fuel save pretty easily here at Pocono and just try to stretch these stints out as much as you can. So it would not surprise me if someone, you know, a Jacob Schneider, a Daniel Nanny, I mean, I say that as your Daniel Nanny and Joshua Watson get a little bit close off of turn number 2, but would not be surprised to see these guys fuel saving here. Clutching in is who is that? The 27 makes
Pierce.
Dive bomb.
That was Pierce. Big dive from Pierce down to the inside.
Roger Pierce in the 27.
It's been really interesting to watch and see who's starting to get a little bit, you know, testy. Who's thinking like, I want to start making some passes. I want to start breaking some draft here and there, because I'm feeling like a little 4D chess is getting played too. A lot of these guys must be thinking, hey, we're still green. We're doing all right. When is Conklin going to pit? What lap is he going to do it on? Am I ready for it? Obviously, we're not even there yet. We got still many laps to go before that's even a consideration. But these guys are already thinking of it. Given how they're driving now, I can just feel it. I can sort of feel the 4D chess being played. I can kind of hear the gears turning.
Yeah, and most of the time, especially at a track like Pocono, you're working out your strategy kind of backwards here, because it's that old saying kind of that you usually only hear at road courses. You want to work your strategy from the end of the race back to where you are. But one thing I've learned from a lot of these guys, knowing a lot of these guys personally, is they do that for pretty much any race. They work their strategy out from the end, so they have as little fuel in the car as possible at the end of the race. So they're as fast as possible in turn. So it would not surprise me if these guys know exactly the lap they're going to pit on that is going to get them to that number, to where they're almost, you know, sputtering coming to the line at the end of this race, as you see people kind of jumping out of line, getting some more positions a little bit further back here. Not sure who all is in this train. I believe I saw Nolan Hodgson making Kevin King and Jose Acosta is what I'm hearing. But as I was saying, a lot of these guys working their strategy from the back, and would not be surprised to see some guys maybe pull it down at around lap, I would say between 25 and 30 for first pit stops here.
Sounds good. And I've seen some interesting stuff. I just watched a race this week where the driver who won was clutching during the turns to avoid running out of gas. Was just able to use, it was a truck series race. It was just able to use I believe it was a truck series race. Just able to use the clutch enough to keep the engine alive to get across the line with less than a half a tank left in the tank, crossing the finish line for the win. So anything can happen when it comes to fuel strategy, and you have to have a lot of tools in the kit, to be able to handle those situations when they pop up.
Yeah, you gotta be as diverse in your skills as possible, especially when you get this high up in these splits. I mean, this iRating split is a 5,500 strength of field, so that means the average iRating of this split is at 5,500, which is, again, inconceivably high. I think that's one of the higher ones we've had this season. So, yeah, that is a stupidly high number, and that means there's a lot of high-skilled guys in this split that know exactly what they're doing. As we're going to see possibly 3 wide here in turn 1.
There it is. Almost.
Ooh, they thought about it. Whoever that was decided to back out of it.
Almost there. We do see a little we do see a little bit of a gap forming. Shane Parrish and Kevin King are about a second apart at this point. This is the biggest gap we've seen form in the pack so far since the race started.
Yeah, they're kind of in kind of no man's land here. You see right here how big that gap is. You can really see kind of who saved their tires to start this race. I feel like this first lead pack is kind of the people that saved their tires, and maybe this second pack right behind them, Kevin King, Jason Maines, Jose Acosta, Thomas Kulmancheski. These guys are the guys that probably pushed a little bit harder trying to make up some time and are now trying to back it off a little bit and keep the life in their tires for just a little bit longer, which, I mean, that is a fair strategy to use in a race like this, it only being 80 laps. But then again, pushing on this early, you don't know how your car is going to handle if you're just conserving. If you're pushing early, I mean, obviously you're going to know what pushing does to your car, but who's to say these guys, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but who's to say these guys don't already know what their car is going to do?
Right.
I guess.
Yeah, there could be a lot of mixtures of experience here with Pocono. Guys who know their car left and right at a track like this, and some guys are going to be playing it by ear. And I think we're going to be seeing both on display tonight. We just got a great view of the race from Kevin King's perspective for a little bit there, as we got eyes on the field. A lot of Mustangs on the field tonight.
Oh, as we're going to be 3 wide here in turn 1, James Holzer, Matt Hollabaugh, and a 12 machine, Miller Bonds in the 12. I always forget. This is my first time being on an NiS split. I keep forgetting there's like 4 or 5 12 cars in these splits. So the last time I remember seeing these guys, they were all in blue schemes. So I'm still trying to, get caught up on who's all who. Is Miller Bonds performs a slide job on Matt Hollabaugh there. That got a little bit tight there.
Hollabaugh holding it nicely in the train on the outside, though. So we'll see if he can. It looks like things are splitting up. I'm not sure if. Yeah, it looks like Hollabaugh's going to lose another position here, unfortunately. Back down potentially to James Holzer. Nope, he holds on to it. I was wrong.
Holzer getting a shove there to get past Matt Hollabaugh. Getting a shove from Zach Rinker in the number 10 machine, or 60 on the paint scheme, but number 10 in sim there on our scoreling pylon. You see Rinker shoving Holzer past Matt Hollabaugh here off of turn number 1. He's got the draft of Miller Bonds in front, but they're not going to get the run off the corner that Matt Hollabaugh was able to get. So we're going to have to wait another corner or two as we got some side-by-side action further back going down into turn number 2.
Little contact between Parrish and Hodgson. Yeah. Parrish and Hodgson coming around turn 2 into turn 3. Definitely a little bit of contact. Again, contact from Hodgson. He's losing. Hodgson very loose in turn 3. Falling back now 2 positions.
Now Kevin King is going to most likely get around. Actually, Hodgson's going to side draft him here to keep that 16th spot, or excuse me, 15th spot. It's down to the turn 1. He has the nose, but Kevin King has the line.
Yeah, you want to be
Kevin
down
King's
on that
gonna
line.
Get a little bit tight here.
Little wobble. Hodgson keeps it just off the wall, barely. The two of them racing hard. King now in the just flat out speed. King's got him on his own side draft.
Johnny Baldridge and Sean Rogers just made a little bit of contact off of turn number 1. As
Baldridge
you see, once again, Hodgson to the inside of Kevin King. Again, this is for 15th spot here. Further back of the field, Hodgson sideways off of turn number 3. That's going to lose him even more time, and that's slowly starting to bring the second pack back up towards this lead pack here. This kind of second pack is led by Jose Acosta, but there's a little bit of a gap back to Jason Maines here. So things starting to close back up ever so slightly for this lead pack. Don't know how much of a difference that's going to make here, but it is starting to close up ever so slightly.
We're on lap 21 now of 80. And what was the lap you said that we were going to be looking for the first pits on?
You
What's your
know,
estimate?
last year would have been the last time I ran Cup cars at Pocono, but last year the fuel window was sitting between 25 and 33, so that would be my guess. I don't know. I don't know what all is the strategy for this week, but that would be my, you know, uneducated guess here up in the booth. But 25 and 30 is someone really loose
Wait,
off of turn number 3 there. Did
that
not catch
was.
who that was. But there was
I
someone
think that
almost dead
was.
sideways. Another person further back almost sideways as well.
I think that was Crow. There. Yep, I think so. Who just went way down to the inside? I
Vincent
didn't see exactly
Crow.
what happened.
Yeah, it was. I think it was Vincent Crow in the number 31 on the pylon, number 1 on the car. Yeah, he got really loose. And there was another car further back that also got almost dead sideways off the corner there.
Ooh, man, that's really starting to mess with people a little bit. Maybe the tires are awake and they need to start changing their driving style a little bit.
As you see Matt Hollaball all the way around the outside. That's going to make contact. Zach Rinker into the attenuator there. Off of pit road. Caution is out here at Pocono. Zach Rinker with a big hit.
The first of the night. We're going to see that one again here in a moment. Here we go.
Look at this replay here. Oh, man. Miller Bonds and Zach Rinker make a little bit of contact.
Right around.
And a hard hit for Zach Rinker. See Miller Bonds slaps the wall off of turn number 3, and Rinker's just a bystander in that.
Yep, just part of the problem. Wasn't his intention. Obviously, they were just racing close, and then bouncing off that wall, there was nowhere for him to go. He was right next to him.
With Zach Rinker here, and you see just nowhere to go, and bam.
Then you're a passenger.
First caution of the night here at Pocono Raceway was an aggressive wreck here, as Zach Rinker more than likely getting taken out here of this race with some hard contact. As you see, Miller Bonds does hit the wall there. Wow, once again, Rinker had nowhere to go. Absolutely no place to go there.
And if Bonds was, if we had the same perspective that Bonds was using right now, he didn't even see him. He was straight up in his dead zone. Probably could have assumed he was there. Maybe his spotter was telling him, you know, inside. But that's not going to help him, obviously, but when you're bouncing off a wall. So let's see.
This would not surprise me to see pit road being really busy here. These guys still working around their first pace lap here. The longest pace lap on iRacing here at Pocono. We're averaging minimum 2 minutes a lap for one single yellow lap here. So these guys are just now coming around to come down pit road, and 24 laps on the tires. Would not be surprised to see pit road be really, really busy here.
We're about to find out. Let's wait and see.
Yep, I called it. Did I not?
You did. Hey, you knew it. You knew it. Let's see if anybody's going to make the call to stay out. I don't think so.
Nope. Does not look like anyone is going to stay out here.
Everyone is on board with the pit. Yep. That's the field.
Does not surprise me. 25 laps here on the tires. These guys are going to be hurting for tires for sure. Pocono is known for eating the tires.
And let's see if there's any big brain strategy here. You think everyone's going to take a full 2 sets, or is someone going to get down
it's going to be
2?
It's going to be forward fuel for sure. There's no reason to mix up the strategy this early on into the race. And Sean Conklin wins the race off of pit road. Garrett Means almost gets him off the corner there, but not able to. And it looks like pretty much as they came in, maybe a little bit of shuffling further back on here, but
not bad. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone mostly keeps their position.
Yeah, definitely not as much as if people had stayed out. That's for sure.
And you can see the pace car up there. Absolutely nobody stayed out here.
Oh, this will be fun then. It's like the race is starting over again. Minus or let's see, did he take his? I don't think there's any fast repairs here, right?
Nope. With that, we're gonna go ahead and take our commercial break here tonight. Or excuse me, we're gonna take a commercial break here tonight. 25 laps into this NASCAR iRacing Series race, and we'll be right back with the restart, and we'll see how this race is gonna play out here on GridVision. Stay right here. And we welcome you back to Pocono Raceway here for this first restart of the night. Sean Conklin has control. Green flag back out in the air, presented by Ryco Performance, and he gets himself a pretty good jump as we're back to the madness here at Pocono Raceway, and you can already see him starting to fan out just a little bit further back. Conklin, though, solo leader down into turn one.
Conklin's going down to the yellow line. Everyone's... Oh, we already have a wreck in the back.
Caution.
Somebody spun out in the back immediately in turn one. Looks like they might have hit the gas too hard, or maybe there was some contact. I just have to pay respect.
Not sure.
Matt Cox. Let's have a look.
Cox.
As we get
look
the
at the replay here. We're on the same mental note here. Thinking the same thing.
It's because we're so invested. That's why.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh.
I think he spilled his big gulp.
All right.
What? You don't think that's a possibility? Come on. See, look at right here. This is where his big gulp goes. Okay.
Yeah, that wreck kind of looked like a typical Chicago Bears season. Absolute train wreck.
Absolute train wreck.
I'm not a Packers fan. I swear. I hate the Packers too.
That's fair. This was, what
I said I hate the Packers. Guess what team I'm a fan of now?
Uh-oh. What would it be?
Think. Who absolutely despises the Green Bay Packers?
I'm the
other than the Chicago Bears. Other than the Chicago Bears, who's the other team in the NFL that absolutely despises the Green Bay Packers?
If I make a random guess, will you make fun of me? Okay.
Go ahead.
The Vikings.
No.
How about the Detroit Lions?
No. We're not even in the same conference.
I don't know.
Actually, yeah, we are.
What is the conference? I don't even know. I thought they all played together. I swear to God.
Okay, apparently the Vikings and the Packers have a rivalry I did not know about.
Oh, well, there you go. Clearly, I know it's not being fed to me by our producer. It's definitely something that I knew going into this conversation.
It is not the Vikings or the Chicago Bears. It is actually the Dallas Cowboys. I'm a very depressed football fan. And I just got booed by our entire production crew. Makes sense.
You poor son of a gun.
Hey, if it makes it any better, it is not our year. It'll never be our year. Not until Jerry Jones sells the team. Hashtag sell the team. Get us
Sell
a
it,
new owner
Jerry.
who actually cares.
Sell it, Jerry.
Please, for the love of God, for the love of my sanity, I cannot watch another year of this team going 12-5 and get knocked out of the first round.
Hey, I only just got into motorsports this last year, so you'll have to. I'm working on names for one professional sport already. I can't figure out a second one at the same time.
Oh, I am a sports nut. Don't worry about that. I can. I'll be there.
I'll let you cover that half of it. If we need to talk about you know Gundams, I'll be on the other side.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'll give you that. I will give you that as we're under our second caution here tonight after Matt Cox gets into turn one a little bit too deep and has a typical Chicago Bears season and hits the outside wall pretty hard. That puts him out of this race as well. Second retirement on the night. Him and Zach Rinker are the only two retirements on the night as we're approaching.
A little bit
as my producer has brought up my pick curse once again, as if it wasn't already known that whoever I pick is doomed to have a bad race.
I totally forgot you picked him. Okay.
I'm a Cowboys fan, and I have a curse when it comes to racing picks.
Man, you just got to start picking people that you want to actually get out of the race instead of people you want to win. Work with your deficit here, my friend, is what I'm saying. Work with it.
At least I'm a Rangers fan, and they won the World Series last year. That's the only thing I have hope about.
Oh, there you go.
And as I look, they're currently fourth in the AL West. It's depressing being a Dallas sports fan right now. Get knocked out in the finals. Then you have two or three other teams that are just depressing. Dallas Stars getting knocked out in the Western Conference Finals. Rangers sucking this year, and the Cowboys being the Cowboys for the better part of the last 30 years. It's fun. It's fun. I'm fine. I'm not fine.
You want a tissue? You want a tissue, buddy?
Yeah, for all the tears.
Yep. Collect them.
And then here come the salty Packers fans. Oh, you won 5 of them. Not my fault. You've only won 1 back in the Reagan administration.
You've practiced this conversation.
I have.
Salty Packers fan. You're ready for the salty Packers fan to show up one day.
Yes. I have practiced this, and I have I have gotten many attempts at this conversation. So I am a professional when it comes to dunking on Packers fans.
Very professional. I'm impressed.
I am. As we're coming back to green flag here at Pocono Raceway, lap 30. We got 50 to go coming to the green flag. Sean Conklin once again in control. Garrett Maines to his outside. Clayton Hoffman in that third spot. Roman in fourth. Green flag back out in the air here at Pocono Raceway. And Sean Conklin once again jumps out a couple of car lengths over the field here. And he should be solo leaders. We already got people jumping out. Patrick Gitter to the outside. Thought about 3 wide down into turn number 1. Thinks better of it as everyone looks to stay 2 wide here. Does everyone keep it clean? Looks like it so far.
Absolutely. Maines and Conklin still up at the front there, trying their best to spread out.
Oh, we're wrecking further back. Huge wreck here at Pocono. Miller Bonds involved. I believe Sean Rogers as well.
I think all the good mojo is starting to exit the race a little bit here. I think we're starting to get into a new zone. of the
See
race.
Sean Rogers. Oh, Miller Bonds went for a space that wasn't there.
Wow.
See Sean Rogers. A couple other guys involved as well.
You think Bonds is going to be able to bounce back from that one, or?
Oh yeah, Bonds. Miller Bonds should be fine from that.
That's the second one he got caught up in tonight.
Yeah, Johnny Baldridge was involved in that as well. I think someone else may have caught part of that.
A lot of weaving around.
I'm going to say maybe Austin Fitzgerald was involved as well. It was Austin Fitzgerald.
That was almost one of those, it reminds me of one of those uncontrolled oscillations where everyone kind of starts to move at the same time like a snake. And you just can't stop the motion from starting, and everybody gets caught up in it.
Yeah, one of those kind of chain reaction things.
Yeah. Once it starts, it's just going to keep happening.
32 laps into this thing. Couple of straight cautions here, as these guys have finally gotten to a point where they feel like they can race and actually not have to worry about strategy at all. And Kyle G in the YouTube chat saying nobody can lift. Is that not the truth or what? Because we're in such a high SOF where if you're not, finishing in the top 10, you're not really going to gain any iRating. So a lot of these guys' mentality is I have to make it through this wreck and gain as many spots as I can, or else I'm going to lose a lot.
Yeah, there is actually something directly to gain out of these official races when you're racing for rating, and it's not just a league race. It's not actually just a league race. Where it's not a league race where you got points on the line, but if you're out of the playoff, you're just racing for fun. This is always on, and you've always got to be a little bit on edge in these official races when they're always running. So when they're always running against your official iRating. So these guys want high numbers.
Yeah, and there's another thing. These guys are also racing for a championship. An NiS championship is one of the bigger championships you can win on iRacing. So you're always incentivized to try and finish as good as you can. I mean, I believe Garrett Maines and or Sean Conklin are one of our two championship leaders. I believe one of those two is leading the championship. I'm not too sure who's leading what right now, but I do believe it's one of these two.
Very good.
It may actually be Vroman too.
Could be Vroman. We could take a look and figure that
pull
out.
Pull up the NiS championship points real quick and get us a concrete answer. As you see these guys trying to break the draft, play the Indy Snake under caution here. It is actually Nicholas Vroman leading the points. He's got a 200-ish point lead over Garrett Maines. Jacob Schneider's that third place points position holder right now. Richard Garcia and JR Borborema round out your top 5 right now. Sean Conklin's actually down in 8th position right now in NiS points. He has actually been gone from a good portion of the NiS races from what I'm hearing.
That's going to make it hard to keep up, obviously. How many? I don't know much about the NiS in... Specifically, I'm very new to it. Did they get any drop weeks? Any number of drop weeks from it?
I want to say it is 3.
Okay, so that's not terrible.
Is it actually 7? Wow.
Yeah, these guys
does make sense. 36 races. I mean, that does make sense to have a lot of drop weeks.
It is impressive to be watching the best of the best, I gotta say. Absolutely true. I see here in the chat. Racers, all of them, the best. And I have to agree.
Yeah, for sure. And my NiS championship standings in the one race I've done this year, 5,111.
Well, congratulations, sir, on your podium. It's a very big podium, and you're pretty far down. People can't really see you from where most people are sitting to see the first, second, and third place. But you're on it.
Oh, yeah. It's that meme of the dude getting the Olympic medal. Yeah, biting the medal. And I'm sitting down in 5,000th position in points.
It's beautiful, though.
By one race I've done this year. I couldn't even tell you what race that was. Probably Daytona, if anything.
That is me in every race I'm in iRacing. I tell my friends, if I get a single-digit finish, if I'm in the top 10, that's podium. To me. I celebrate
Tell
like
you
I
what,
just
I
got
used to be
first.
I'll tell you what, I used to be a little bit of a demon in this car. I used to be really good at this thing. I ran it pretty much the better part of last year, but I stopped running this thing. I just couldn't run it anymore. It was getting very, very, very old to me.
I don't think I'm ever going to be challenging the top spots in NIS. My favorite car right now is probably, I gotta say, either the Xfinity or the SK Modifieds. I really,
Well,
really
those are
like
two good
driving
choices.
those.
Those are two good choices. I'm not really a modifieds guy. I've dabbled in them. I'm never gonna say I'm good in the
Fun
modifieds,
car.
but they are
Good
fun.
Oh, so fun.
Oh yeah. But we're coming back to green flag here. Once again, as the pace car makes that aggressively sharp left turn back onto pit road, Sean Conklin once again in control. Green flag back out of the air here at Pocono, and once again gets a huge jump over the field. Nicholas Vroman actually gets a good restart here. Maybe has a run on Sean Conklin. Conklin having to block Garrett Maines having to block Clayton Hoffman now as Vroman to the inside of Garrett Maines, side by side for the second spot. Vroman's going to get a little bit tight. Looks like for the most part, everyone's going to make it clean and green through turn number 1. It's just a matter of can we make it down to turn number 2 this time?
Eyes on the back of the pack. That's where we've been seeing a lot of this happen. But right now we do have some bumping and rubbing from Maines and Vroman side by side still as we're going through turn 2, the tunnel turn. This is the turn where a little bit of too much speed on the exit, you're going to smack that wall, you're going to spin out. But it looks like we're still green, thankfully.
I think they just went 3 wide through turn 2. Nolan Hodgson was all the way on the outside of turn number 2, and they somehow survived. Paul Bergoli way up out of the groove off of turn number 2. He gets loose off the corner, keeps it straight. A lot of guys getting loose. Joshua Watson now going down to break the draft. Patrick Gitter goes down to get his draft. Things starting to kick off in the best way possible here at Pocono, as it looks like pretty much everyone's just going to try to find a slot here. As I say that, though, Paul Bergoli takes it to the outside, offset 3 wide off of turn number 1. That is Joseph as Patrick Gitter and Paul Bergoli make a little bit of contact off of turn number 1.
It is a wild pack there around the 8th, 9th position, whereas up at the front, Conklin...
Oh, and a little bit of a dive bomb here from, I believe... Was that Joshua Watson? It was, as he gets a little bit loose. Patrick Gitter now through the middle. 3 wide down the short chute at Pocono Raceway. Patrick Gitter through the middle. He has got Jacob Schneider to his outside, Joshua Watson to his inside. He is the meat in a Ryco sandwich right now, and they're going to make it clean and green through turn 3. Now Nolan Hodgson going to send it through the middle, 3 wide further behind.
That is in some intense driving there. The stability of Gitter to hold it steady while he is on either side assaulted and really potentially just told where to drive. Very, very impressive as we're still 3 wide here with 17.
Oh, James Holzer getting a little bit tight there. Joshua Watson losing time, hand over fist here. As trying to find this battle here. Joshua Watson losing even more time now, as I believe it was Shane Parrish that was to the outside 3 wide of these guys on the 66 machine. It was, as Shane Parrish taps the wall off of turn number 2, as Holzer is still to his inside. It looks like they've calmed down on the 3 wide for the moment, but who is to say that's not going to pick up here in about 7 seconds?
I'm still following Watson as Kolmacheski and Patovich pass him up pretty cleanly there. He's trying to find a spot back on the inside, but the battle up front is still pretty smooth. I gotta say, the cars at the front have found their groove, but Maines is sneaking up on Sean Conklin. The distance has closed. What was once 4 tenths is now 10. Or 1.
Yeah, Garrett Maines is closing in, but from what we've seen the most of the night, I've been watching him as we've been keeping our eyes on other battles. Maines has just been pushing Conklin. He's just trying to move this line along here. As you see, on board with Garrett Maines right now.
Yep.
Gives him a little bump into a bump draft down into turn 3 there. Actually,
Nice
Nicholas
clean hits.
Vroman looks to the inside.
Roman looks to the inside, but with the bump drafting going on, if he doesn't get some of his own, pardon me, if he doesn't get some of his own, it's going to be hard for him to keep up. Eventually, this gap is going to increase with these two cars ahead of him, but with the draft in these cars is so tight. So if he can just predict the line of Maines and Conklin, he could stay competitive.
Oh, Ooh, someone just slapped the wall off of turn number 1. Believe it was Clayton Hoffman who just smacked the wall off of turn number 1, and he's losing a lot of time now.
Ooh, falling back hard. It's Clayton Hoffman. Looks like
and Garrett Maines just hit the wall off of turn number 2. Sean Conklin is now pulling on Garrett Maines, who just slaps the wall. And now Roger Pierce to the inside of Garrett Maines.
Oh, looking for my pick to hold on here. Come on. Don't want to be the double commentator curse. Still on the inside of Garrett Maines is Nicholas Roman. Oh, wait,
gap creeping up to 5/10, but already see how powerful the draft is, pulling Garrett Maines back to Sean Conklin.
Watching them now come down 40 of 80. We are passing the halfway point. And it looks like we're back into that single file with a few passes going on here and there.
Things starting to calm down after a crazy restart here at Pocono Raceway, where we saw multiple 3-wide moments here as further back at a little battle for position here. Sean Rogers and Jose Acosta in the 36 and 28 there, as that got a little bit tight as Sean Rogers puts a little bit of a squeeze further up. Matt Hollabaugh, right behind him, Matt Hollabaugh and Alan Pajari side by side for, this is the 26th position.
And the battles in the middle of the pack, in the back of the pack, have been just as exciting as anything going on up front. It's, again, the best racing that you've got in iRacing. The top tier drivers.
I said it in our pre-race, 36 of the best taking on the tricky triangle. They're in top split for a reason. They're the 36th best that signed up for this race, so it's a reason they're out there. You see the weather, 78-degree air temp, 106-degree track temp. So these guys are definitely feeling that rear tire, or that right rear tire, screaming for mercy right now.
Yep, and there wasn't a single one of them that didn't take tires on the last time around on the pit laps, and everyone had the same amount of pit time virtually here. It looks like there were actually a few people who had pit times that were very short. It looks like Alan Pajari and Kyle Trudell, McGuire, Becerra, they all had 6-second pit times. Do they only take 2 tires?
No, that's too short for a two-tire stop. Yeah, they probably topped off and came back down just to get some extra fuel on the car.
That would make sense. Yep, and I see it here.
Because for a 2-tire stop, you're looking for anything between 8 and like 9.5 seconds. A 4-tire stop would be anything between 13 and 14.5 seconds. So
yep.
That 2-tire stop. Oh yeah, as our producer just said, seeing people come down to top off on later caution laps than everyone else pits, that's very common at Daytona, Talladega, Pocono, any of these longer tracks. I mean, you'll see it at Michigan every once in a while too. I mean, heck, even if it is really close at the end, you'll see it at some of the smaller tracks as well. So it's all dependent on kind of what the fuel situation is looking like. Is right now these guys set to pit on, my guess would be around probably between 50 and 58 would be my best approximation for the next pit stops. If we do get it that far under green flag conditions, we may see some green flag pit stops here tonight. But once they finish that second stop, whenever it may be, and if it does go green to the end, we won't see any more pit stops tonight.
That's true. 50 with 44 out of 80 to go, it could still go green to the end, and everybody is now back in that position where they've found the groove. They're driving a little more cleanly, even up at the front where we've got some competition. The competition is a lot between teammates, so we're seeing them drive very carefully and not really look for too much crazy passing right now, at least. I think everyone just wants to make it a little bit further. With a string of 3 cautions earlier, everyone could be a little bit on edge.
Yeah, right now you got a Ryco Performance 1 through 8, and 10 of the top 11 are Ryco Performance drivers. The first non-Ryco driver is Clayton Hoffman in 9th. And then you got to go back to 12th to find Patrick Gitter for the next non-Ryco driver. So a lot of teammates up here in the top 10, all more than likely working together.
Well, that's the way to do it. If you want to win some of these races and you can line up your guys, you're going to win by working together. The bump drafting, the position blocking, it's all going to come together.
As you see, Vincent Crow attempting a slide job on James Holzer, gets it to stick. That definitely did get tight, as Holzer now has the up and under opportunity. It's going to be side drafting Crow for everything it is worth down at the turn 2, and you see right there just how powerful the side draft can be here.
Wow, it's almost immediate. It's just as powerful in some cases as just being right behind the guy. Being able to side draft like that and to take that speed off of him, it's caused more passing we've seen here tonight than I think I give it credit for in general.
Yeah, and normally, usually most people would say, oh yeah, you're only going to see side drafting at Daytona or Talladega where you're in a big pack, but with this next-gen car and with how powerful the side draft can be in this car, you're going to see side drafting everywhere. I've seen side drafting at Bristol, of all places, before.
Wow, but car barely even gets up to speed at that point, but you can still make air, and it looks like the next-gen
Patrick
car...
Gitter getting a little bit tight there off the corner. Woo! Oh, and we're wrecking further back. Sean Rogers, and I believe, not sure who that is.
Are we going to go to the yellow? Yes, we are, because he's on the outside.
Who was that? It was Nicholas Padovich in the 45.
And that'll be I think our fourth caution of the evening.
Caution of the night.
Excuse me.
Now that changes a lot of things here, as we have 34 to go. As Padovich gets, oh man. Rogers is saying over the driver radio that he left a lane and a half to Padovich, but it looks like Padovich, kind of what we've had in recent NASCAR races here, kind of getting squeezed up into the turn 1 wall and getting really loose trying to stay out of the wall.
Yeah. He never got touched. I'll say that. He overreacted a little bit, and then that overreaction caused the spin out, but he did not leave him a lane and a half. Let's all agree on that. It was a little closer than a lane and a half, but I think that Padovich just overreacted to seeing him in his mirror there, and that overreaction caused him to lose control of the car.
Get another look at the replay here. Yeah, once again, really similar to what we've seen in the last 2 real Pocono Cup races between Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson last year, and then Denny Hamlin and Ross Chastain the year before. Noticing a little bit of a theme here. With that, we're going to go ahead and take another commercial break. Stay right here. We'll talk you through how pit stops went down on the other side of this commercial break here on GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
And we welcome you back here to Pocono Raceway, the tricky triangle here, as we had a little bit of a mix-up up front during pit stops. Garrett Maines, your new leader, Sean Conklin, loses 3 spots down to 4th position. Jacob Schneider does move up to 2nd, and Clayton Hoffman moves up into that 3rd spot, as we got a little bit of a mix-up than what we're used to seeing up here, up front, as these guys worked their way through turn 3, coming back towards the Geico restart zone. Going to be the first time as Garrett Maines does take 2 tires here, so we're already starting to see a mix of strategy, maybe expecting some more cautions. As Garrett Maines takes 2 tires, he's going to have control of this restart. Green flag back out in the air here at Pocono Raceway. Garrett Maines, your control car, and he gets another jump and a half over the field, as now Sean Conklin pushing Jacob Schneider on the outside. It's not going to be enough getting out down into turn number 1. They're going to be 3 wide. Roger Pierce to the inside, 3 wide, almost 4 wide. Further back up in the field, they're going to be 4 wide off of turn number 2. That's going to get tight contact between Roger Pierce and Daniel Nanny. 4 wide at Pocono to the inside. Jose Acosta. Someone's got to back out of the turn 2. It's going to be Jose Acosta, but they're still going to be 3 wide, 2 rows deep here.
That is intense. Again, eyes on the back of the field. This is how it happened last time. Lines are
through the middle now.
3 wide still. Very exciting racing. Great restart.
3 wide, 6 rows deep, I'm counting right now.
Ooh.
And there's still 3 wide further back in this field.
About 30 laps to go. 51 out of 80
exactly
here.
30 laps to go.
Oh, true.
Oh, Nicholas Vroman and Sean Conklin almost make contact further up at the front of the field. That got sketchy between those two, but things kicking off in the biggest way you could think of, as now Clayton Hoffman and Nicholas Vroman getting up in arms with each other for that 4th spot.
Hoffman, one of the first guys to actually try to break down to the inside since this restart happened. A little bit loose there. Just a little bit loose coming out of turn 2. Still trying to hold on, diving down to the line.
And it looks like things are starting to calm down just a little bit. I say a little bit as there's still 2, 3 wide back here, but it's a lot. It's a far cry from what we saw there as Joseph, and I believe Daniel Nanny made a little bit of contact as Jose Acosta takes it to the inside of Joseph.
Still 3 wide, 4 wide. It's hard to tell. A huge group still around the position, back around the 15, 16 position. But now, again, they might be calming back down again.
Yeah, it looks like they're all starting to settle down, get into those single file lines, and maybe try to make this a little bit of a longer run to the finish of this race. As you see side by side for, I believe that's about 7th spot. Tommy Gossett and the other Maines in this race, Jason Maines, for that 7th position. Maines going around the outside here. Jason Maines going around the outside of Tommy Gossett.
And there we go. That nice Sunday drive line is back. Let's see how long it lasts.
And they're trying to confuse me in this race again. They got 2 mains. It's kind of like our Thunderclap iRacing series where they have 4 mats.
The 4 mats, yeah. Matt Cherry, Matt Garrett. Yeah.
So, trying to confuse. They always are in the Thunderclap iRacing series, always next to each other. I always call it the Matt and Matt show, but this time it's the Mains and Mains show, except Garrett Mains is leading and Jason Mains is down in 8th position as see for this 4th spot, Nicholas Vroman to the inside of Clayton Hoffman. Does make that slide job stick, but Hoffman has to check up big time here as here comes Cody Terlin to the inside of Nicholas Vroman now. He's got help behind him, and Jason Mains is going to be bump drafting Cody Terlin to the inside of the 95 of Nicholas Vroman, and that's going to put Terlin up into that 4th spot, and he's going to work on chasing Sean Conklin and co.
Terlin with just a little bit of back and forth movement as he was going through that turn. I'm looking at him to maintain.
Oh, we got 3 wide further back. Didn't mean to cut you off, but Paul Bergoli, Roger Pierce, and Daniel Nanny 3 wide. As they do get it sorted out before turn 2. Roger Pierce getting a little bit loose in turn 2.
I think this is going to be a trend we're going to start seeing is this looseness in turn 2, or these looseness in general as the race goes on. These guys, their cars are on fresher tires, actually, relatively right now. But I just got a feeling that the track and the want for positions is going to start getting into people's heads.
And the want for positions and the want for more points is really going to start outweighing the worthiness of saving tires here, as you see Tommy Gossett. Had someone just slap the wall. A lot of people just slapped the wall off of turn number 2. Started with Sean Conklin, and I believe I saw a couple of people further back as now Tommy Gossett having to slip back in line behind Jason Mains.
Tommy Gossett definitely making a touch of contact there with the tail end of Jason Mains. I was worried for a second that was going to be our next yellow. It really looked like it was signing up to be, but Gossett wisely, that 1% he needed to back off, he did it. And he left just enough room that he can get back up to speed. He's still competitive with Mains.
Sorry about that. I just saw someone slap the wall, and it looked like it was about to be scatter for a moment further back.
No, you are good. I want to make sure that we get room to get these great calls in, and we notice some of the amazing action that's happening on the field while we dive into the who's, whys, and whats of what's going on.
Tommy Gossett a little bit tight off of turn number 1 there, getting off the draft of Jason Mains, now falling back into the clutches of Daniel Nanny, but Gossett gets a decent run actually off of turn number 1 there.
That line of 5
Gossett,
cars up front. Oh, sorry, go on.
Yeah, the 5-car breakaway up front. He's starting to pull away a little bit from Clayton Hoffman, who's just barely sticking with their draft, but he's got a lot of hungry cars right behind him as Jason Mains gets a little bit tapped from Tommy Gossett there. Off of the corner. Gets
going through his head.
Yeah, there's too many mains in this race.
one main too many.
Yeah, and it's only 2.
It's only 2.
Now imagine me on the Fritz when you have all 4 mats in the Thunderclap series side by side.
Oh my goodness, I can barely imagine it.
Fun fact, we've had that happen multiple times this year. They actually finished, I think it was 3, 4, 5 Wednesday night at Chicagoland, so.
Wow. I did remember seeing them in the repositions sequentially at one point during the race, but I did not realize they finished sequentially as well.
As we see here, Vincent Crow and Kevin King side by side. Crow having to give that battle up for the moment. Further up, I believe Joseph to the inside of Tommy Gossett here. He does make that move stick. Gossett tries the up and under. Not going to be able to make it stick, though.
Let's see what happens here. As Clayton Hoffman, I've thought was going to lose some speed, he was the largest gap between the top 5 cars. It was between Roman and Hoffman, but Hoffman's been closing the gap, or at least maintaining it. And I was thinking, was he focusing on defense too much? What was really causing him to cause that gap to increase on him? And then he just kept closing it up. So I think that Hoffman is really putting on an impressive drive tonight. I gotta say, he's in the position he started in right now, and he's holding onto it for dear life, both from the car behind him, Jason Maines, and in front.
Oh, we got flying formation further back here as we got, oh my God, 5, 6 cars all with the chance. Vincent Crowe through the middle 3 wide here. Jose Acosta, Paul Bragoli, Patrick Gitter in there as well. More of this flying formation as Vincent Crowe still 3 wide. That's going to get a left side. Patrick Gitter's going to get turned in front of Paul Bragoli. Scatter behind as Vincent Crowe goes down to the inside wall. We got ourselves another caution with 21 to go at Pocono.
That was just a disaster waiting to happen. It felt like all that formation flying that we were just seeing, unplanned, uncoordinated, was just a disaster waiting to happen. Wow, look at this.
They had the, what was it, the flying V going down the front straightaway here. See Kevin King goes through the middle 3 wide on Paul Bragoli and Jose Acosta. Gitter, knowing Gitter, he was definitely thinking 4 wide into 1, but then they decide to bump draft Kevin King and Jose Acosta. That puts Vincent Crowe through the middle 3 wide here. He gets a little bit tight under Paul Bragoli, and then Gitter kind of squeezes him here. Ah, man. And then Vincent Crowe slams the inside wall here.
It was the squeeze. You know, I think that it's hard to say. If you were to take this to old sim racing court, what would you say? Should he have backed off a little bit? Should Vincent have backed off a little bit, knowing that he was going to spin the 21?
Oh man, well, I think Patrick Gitter was trying to block Vincent Crowe's run here, so man, that's a tough one to call. In the end, though, yeah. I do think that if we're trying to avoid a wreck entirely here, I think Crowe maybe should have just checked up a little bit and kept the momentum going. But then again, when you look at it from Patrick Gitter's on board here, you can kind of see that there really wasn't the space there for Patrick Gitter.
Yeah, there really wasn't. It was a tough one. That was a really, really tough one to call. Let's see here.
And once again, though, Gitter doesn't really make the move to block, so
no, he didn't.
That puts it back on. I think that puts it back on Vincent Crowe to maybe back off a little bit there.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like he was trying to be reactionary. Like it wasn't a reactionary block. It's hard to say. You know, we're just here trying to get inside the heads of some.
Oh, we got deviation and strategy. Oh man, things got tight there.
Ooh.
Cody Terlin, Clayton Hoffman, Vroman staying out, Daniel Nanny, Joseph. Yo, we got a lot of mix and strategy here at Pocono.
Here we go. Let's see who takes what.
Oh, man, we got a lot more that stayed out than came down pit road, so.
Garrett Maines came down.
You can see the majority of the field came down pit road here. Get a look here. It looked like for the moment that everyone was going to come down pit road, and it all starts with Clayton Hoffman in the 11. He's the first one to make a move that he's staying out, and it all kicks off behind him. You see almost an accident there between Schneider and Vroman, I believe it was. Or no, Talend and Vroman.
That was an intense set of decision-making right there from half the field. But now we're going to see a good mixture of different driving disciplines on the road, different focuses. As we have some people pitting with tires and gas, some people still staying out.
Now here's the thing. These guys are given 3 sets of tires that they can come down pit road and take in NiS. Actually, is it 3 or 5 for NiS? I don't remember. I think it's 3 for Pocono.
3 is. Oh, yes. Let me check it out.
4. They have 4 tires, so.
Oh,
okay, so a lot of guys just took their last set of tires.
Okay. That's it for them.
Yeah, that's it for them. 20 to go. They're going to have to make it to the end on this set of tires. So if you're Sean Conklin, if you're Nicholas Vroman, if you're Cody Terlind, if you're Clayton Hoffman, if you're Daniel Nanny, you're kind of sitting here thinking, okay, I have a chance in this thing because these guys that just pit, they're going to be coming through fiercely. But if we get another caution later on in this race, we're going to have the upper hand because we're going to have fresher tires than these guys. So
Yes, you will.
it goes back to that 4D chess that you were playing earlier. So it all comes down to who does what if we get another caution here.
And I was really basing that on there being a lot of green flag racing. And then all of a sudden we've had yellows that have just come up at such strategic little places to change that. This is where the 4D chess is really clearly visible from our point of view, our higher level point of view. Seeing all the different choices being made with do I pit, do I not? Yeah, I'm really excited because if they end up pitting later, if these guys, if the Nannies, the Bromans, the Turlins, if they pit later, they're gonna have the defensive set on their cars. They're gonna be able to drive fast with confidence, knowing that the guys behind them are just never gonna catch them.
Now this is gonna get interesting here because the first car on fresh tires is gonna be Garrett Mans. He's down in 16th position right now.
Watch what happens.
So you got people on 14 lap older tires than Garrett Mans, Jacob Schneider, Tommy Gossett, all these guys that we saw up front. It's really going to get interesting as they're coming through the field on these older tires because these guys on older tires, they're going to be racing for position. They're going to be racing for track position. And then you're going to have guys coming through steamrolling on fresh tires. So
yep,
things could get sketchy here at Pocono. 18 laps to go in this race. 62 out of 80. Sean Conklin back up front. Cody Turlin to his outside. And things are setting up to get interesting at the end of this one. As coming off of turn 3, it's going to be Sean Conklin leading these guys back to the green flag. Down towards the restart zone. Green flag back out of the air. Oh, a little bit of wheel spin there from the 11 of Clayton Hoffman. Sean Conklin does not have his jump affected at all, as now Nicholas Vroman to the inside trying to defend from Daniel Nanny. Not as much scatter as we're used to seeing here on these restarts. Only 2x2 down into turn number 1. Nicholas Vroman does get clear of the 09 of Cody Turlin. He's going to attempt the slide jump. He gets a little bit tight. Turlin thought about the up and under. He's still going to do it. Thinks better of it back into the draft. 3 wide further back as you got a lot of people making a lot of moves here at Pocono down to the turn number 2. Single file for about your first 8 cars, but they're 3 wide in turn 2 here. They're wrecking a little bit further back. 4 wide now, wrecking off of turn number 2. A lot of cars sideways and a big hit there.
We're going to go straight to the next yellow. As you predicted, it got hot fast. You called it,
27 of Alan Pajari with a big hit to the inside wall. And this all started with Johnny Baldridge and who was that? Was that Joshua Watson as well?
Oof. This onboard. Oh, wow. The spin-a-rooney.
I believe that all started with Johnny Baldridge and I want to say it was Joshua Watson. It was.
21 in the 17.
And then it's just all scattered from here as you see a lot of other cars involved. Gitter barely working his way through that one. I believe Gitter may have actually hit the wall there at the end of that.
Yeah, 27 shoves the 17. 17 maintains, but then the 27 just loses control completely.
And does Gitter hit the wall here? Oh, he did.
Yep.
So Gitter has a little bit of damage as well after almost missing that.
What an intense crash. Again, it was toward the back of the field. Again, it was early on after a restart. And what I'm considering this stage we're in now with 17 to go. Well, it's going to be less than that after this. I consider the stage we're in now the dash to the finish. So the guy, you should have seen, I followed Garrett Mans during that restart. He's hungry to get back to the front. You should have seen how he was driving. It was until the wreck happened, some of the more impressive and aggressive driving that I'd seen him do all night, considering he was in the middle of the pack. So I think there still is fight in not just Garrett Mans, but the other drivers who were back in that pack that got those fresh tires. I think there's a lot of fight in them. And if the other drivers are smart, use this yellow, catch up to them, get some tires on right now.
With that, we're going to take another commercial break here from Pocono. 15 to go at this race, and it is set to be an exciting finish here. Stay right here. We'll take you to the finish on GridVision.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind them.
Back live here at Pocono Raceway, 14 to go as we're coming to a restart. Sean Conklin has control over the field once again. Green flag out of the air back at Pocono as Sean Conklin gets another good jump. Cody Turlin stays in his draft here. Does he make a move to the inside? Already moves going back. Kevin King tried to go to the outside there further back, but he gets blocked by that move. They're three wide. Daniel Nanny in the middle here. He has got Joseph and I believe Clayton Hoffman for company off the corner. Daniel Nanny and Joseph getting a little bit tight. They're going to wreck off of turn number one. Big time wreck here. A lot of hard hits. Garrett Maines is involved.
And once again, we're back to the yellow. Garrett Maines in the middle back of the pack. One of our former potential podium sitters is now going to be in pit road. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate.
Joseph, Daniel Nanny, James Holzer, all with big-time hits here.
A lot of bouncing back and forth amongst each other, just pounding between the two of them. The three or four of them, actually. Let's get another angle
look
on
at
that.
the replay here.
Mm-hmm.
Damn.
Yeah. Beep, beep. So unfortunate.
And you see Joseph kind of gets the least of that.
Yeah.
As James
yeah.
Holzer and Garrett Baines are modified mode now.
Joseph able to bounce through the middle of that relatively, probably still having some. I'm betting that it wasn't completely scot-free, so to speak. But
He'll
yeah,
have some toe
he
damage.
gets
Oh,
it
yeah,
out.
he's got toe damage for sure.
That's all right. Let's see what happened here from his perspective, right over the hood.
Yeah, you could
Bounces
tell
off
that
the
was coming.
wall.
As soon as they were 3 wide going down into 1, you could pretty much tell they were getting ready to wreck.
And there he goes.
Yeah, that's when he's definitely got some toe damage somewhere.
Yeah. Well, who knows? If these guys keep this up and they keep with these aggressive restarts and only make it a lap or two, we might have a green-white checkered situation.
Oh, and who knows how crazy that'll get.
Once they know that there's no way for the race to avoid finishing, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Were they 5 wide off the corner there? I'm pretty sure they may have been 5 wide coming off of turn 1 as they were getting ready to wreck here. They were definitely 4 wide.
There's 4 wide right there.
No, they didn't quite get 5 wide.
They did 4 wide, and they did 4
Oh,
wide diagonally.
Kevin King barely misses that. Wow. Oh, and by the way, if we're coming to the finish of the thing, don't be surprised if you see 5 wide. I won't.
Yeah. Well, the track's big enough for
Or
it.
let me rephrase that. I'll be excited to see 5 wide, but I won't be surprised to see 5 wide.
Very good. Okay. Pocono is wide enough for that, except maybe turn 2, which you can still probably do 5 wide in turn 2 if you were insane.
Dude, I've seen... You're not going to believe me when I say this. I've seen 8 wide here at Pocono before.
What? Okay, well, yeah, you could use the okay, that's just it. I'm willing to believe
obviously on the
anything
front
is possible.
stretch. Is obviously on the front stretch, but yes, I have seen 8 wide here before.
I believe it. I fully do. I don't think we're going to see it tonight, but I fully believe it. I say that in order to tempt fate.
Yeah, usually when you say stuff, I mean, in my experience, when I say things, they usually the opposite happens. So we're not going to see 8 wide here. Totally not.
That's true. When I say it, sometimes it does happen. Oh, boy. I don't like that. Anyways, let's see what happens with this last.
I'm the one
laps.
tempting fate here.
That's fair. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to leave it to you to tempt fate. I'm not going to throw my hat into that ring. Forget it. It's all on you.
Yeah, and as we're currently on the greatest lap in racing, lap number 69. Of course, once again, being extended by the caution because, you know, just the greatness of the greatest lap in iRacing, or the greatest lap in racing.
Not much beats it.
No.
It's my favorite lap.
The last lap could get up there, but no, nothing that will ever beat lap 69. Greatest lap in racing. Nice.
And now we're on lap 70.
Oh.
Boo.
Lap 70, everyone's least favorite lap in racing.
Yeah. Since one. I was trying to think of something good after that, but I'm tapped. Producer's trying to convince us that lap 70 has redeeming qualities. I'm not going to even.
Lap 70 is definitely the worst. You will not convince me in any other way that lap 70 is any bit of good, because lap 70 ends the greatest lap in racing, so it's automatically the worst.
There you go. There you go. He is technically correct.
I'm not. Nope. I am not repeating that, Darby. I am not repeating what our producer just said.
I'm going to pretend I didn't even hear it.
Oh, my goodness. As you can see, these NiS races, it may be different commentators, but we're still losing our collective minds up here in the booth. Take that, Edstrom and Sheldon. We could still go off the rails here.
Ah, the rails are just guidelines, my friend.
And we go off them all the time.
Yes.
as we're coming up to another restart here tonight. It's going to put us on 10 to go here at Pocono. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, get on the edge of your seats. This is about to be insane.
Speaking of which, looks like Garrett Maines is flat out of the race at this point.
Yeah, he has pulled it behind the wall. He is done. So that leaves it to the rest of your field to determine the winner here. It's going to be Sean Conklin leading them back to the green flag. Once again, green flag back out of the air. Nicholas Froman gets a really good jump. Now you see the 09 of Cody Terlind. He's trying to side draft Nicholas Froman in the 95 for that to keep that second spot. They're going to be 3 wide further back, as I believe that's Josh Watson sending it there. Excuse me, that's Jacob Schneider sending it 3 wide to the inside further back. Froman and Terlind make a little bit of contact. Terlin's going to get a little bit loose, but they keep it straight off of turn number 1 down to turn number 2. They're 3 wide further back. Do they clear it up? No, Kevin King's going to send it 3 wide to the inside of Roger Pierce, and Clayton Hoffman's going to back out and let him battle it out here as Kevin King to the inside of Roger Pierce. Pierce gets a little bit tight, but he keeps the run off of turn number 2. I think I saw a car sideways off the track off of 2, but they all keep it clean and green for the majority of this first lap. But off of turn number 3, Sean Conklin has himself a half a second advantage over the field.
It's hard for me to name a car that's not 2 wide or 3 wide right now, as Thomas Kolmacheski falls back. Sean Conklin now moves into is probably the only car that's not 3 wide right now. Looking back at the rest of the pack, 2 wide or 3 wide. But his gap now about a half a second ahead of the rest of the crew.
Oh, Cody Terlind was loose off the corner again, as you saw him smoking. Oh, they're wrecking further back. Nolan Hodgson's around. Vincent Crowe is around. Joseph's involved. Bumpers are flying again here at Pocono. Oh, the clip's bouncing.
Love
that's funny.
It. Minds of their own. Just want to be part of the race. Down the back stretch.
Bumpers are racing down the back straight away. 1, 2, 3. Just kidding. I'm not going to do that.
We're not going to call the bumpers. See who makes it to pit row first.
We'll get a replay of this real quick. Nolan Hodgson and I believe Nicholas Padovich. Oh, yeah. Just ping pong. Nolan Hodgson was playing there.
Yeah, he got boxed in hard. There was nowhere for him to go.
I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it. If it was a joke on boxed in, but I'm not going to say it.
Look, just watch. Okay, let's just let it play out visually here. You see what I mean?
I'll type it in chat, though.
All right. All the bumpers. It was like watching somebody play pinball.
All the bumpers just bouncing around. Beep. As Darby saw what the joke I was going to make was. As you see Nolan Hodgson getting ping-ponged there. Not really anywhere for him to go, and Joseph came in like a wrecking ball there.
Oof.
Sorry, I had to.
No, it was a perfect reference. It was still relevant. I award that. Still relevant.
That was Kyle Trudell. That was the other car involved in that wreck. As we'll see, nobody comes down pit road. I think it's going to take a green-white checker to drive to pull these guys down pit road.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, it's going to be a green-white checker. If that pops up, everyone's going to pit. Everyone who can, at least.
Yeah, and if things keep going like they are for the moment, do not be surprised to see a green-white checkered before the end of this race. And granted, in the NiS series, they have 3 green-white checkered attempts, so theoretically, we could see this race go into the 90s. Oh, yeah, Darby rubbing it in. His pick is the only one still in the race. I'm Darby, and I always pick the best cars that have the best chance of winning.
Well, when you just hedge your bets, you're gonna win.
We need to force Darby to pick not a front runner.
Well, I picked Gary Maines tonight, and it didn't matter at all.
I picked Zach Rinker, and he was out before halfway.
There you go. I think it just goes to show you could pick your best guy, but it's not going to be his night. It's not going to be his night.
Yeah, well, it's also that I have the curse of whoever I pick always is going to have a bad race.
That is a heck of a curse.
It's happened all year. Go back and look at all of our old broadcasts. Literally everyone I have picked has either had a bad race or has been wrecked.
Oof.
I think I have 2 picks that have done at least decent. Because the way we do our picks here at GridVision is your pick has to win the race for you to get the point.
Okay.
So I have 2 picks all year in the how many broadcasts I've done this year? Probably close to 60 at this point.
Yeah, 2 out of 60.
So needless to say, I'd be getting demoted from low A at this point if we're talking baseball terms. Like, I'm not even close to double A, bro. We're in low A at this point.
Let's just say DraftKings wouldn't hire me to write articles.
Hell, I'd be close to getting demoted to rookie ball right now. The way I'm hitting 2 for 60 right now, I'd be in rookie ball at the bottom of rookie ball.
That's fair. I only played baseball when I was probably about 10 years old. That's the last time I remember playing baseball.
Fair enough. I was
So you'd still be better than me.
pretty good, and I could have gotten pretty good in baseball until I decided to tear my rotator cuff.
Ah, what an enterprising decision.
Yeah.
You decided to start a career in technology.
Yeah. So now they're betting in the race chat on when their next wreck is going to be. So.
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Top
betting
Split.
like that. We'll probably, yeah. Okay. Well, we're 1 to green. We're going to find out real soon with 5 laps to go.
5 laps to go here at Pocono. Getting down into the waning moments of this thing. And do I dare say it again? Get on the edge of your seats here, ladies and gentlemen.
Say it.
I'll go ahead and say it. Get back on the edge of your seats, people. This is... It'll be a miracle if I survive this race. I thought Chicagoland was crazy with the Thunderclap iRacing Series Wednesday night. This is going to top that for sure. As we're coming through,
pretty good.
This has been pretty good. Not on the level that Thunderclap was throughout the entire race, but this race has had its fair share of ups and downs as Sean Conklin has control over this restart once again. He's going to get down into that Geico restart zone. Green flag back out in the air here at Pocono. He immediately goes up to block Cody Terlandis. Nicholas Roman gets to his inside. Now he's going to be side drafting the 54 down into turn number 1. He's got Roger Pierce there 4 wide further in the pack. And now down in the corner, it's going to be Nicholas Roman leading this race, and he's going to get a little bit tight. Sean Conklin squeezing him. They're going to make contact through turns 1 and 2. Sean Conklin's going to go up into the wall. They're going to be 4 wide off the corner. Roger Pierce sideways. Cody Terlandis sideways. A huge wreck here at Pocono. A lot of cars hitting the inside and outside walls here.
My jaw is on the floor. That Sean Conklin didn't get completely destroyed during that. Take a breather. Take a drink. Wow, that was some incredible reaction timing from Sean Conklin there up at the front. As you can see, it was an intense battle. And a battle of teammates there at the front for a second that ended with tragedy. Numerous cars spun, crashed. Conklin still on his feet with minor damage, if anything.
So, the last 15 laps have been so crazy that my Apple Watch thinks I'm working out right now because of how high my heart rate's been getting.
Oh, my goodness. We have 10 cars out of the race right now. We're down to 26 out of 36 cars in the race.
Oh, and we're going to have more out of this race before the end of this thing. Cody Terland's probably done. Daniel Nanny's probably done. Get another look at the replay here. Vroman and Sean getting up in arms, and it all started when they went almost 5 wide off the corner, and Roger Pierce, oh my goodness.
Wow.
I think that's got to be up there for one of the hardest hits I think I've ever seen on iRacing. And I've seen my fair share of hard hits here.
Let's watch it right here.
See right here. Bam.
He left his boots back there. Yeah.
Oh, man. I can repeat that. Our producer goes, it's like when you get hit so hard your shoes fall off, because both bumpers for Roger Pierce fell off, and I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, that's a good visual approximation of what's going on here. Replay one more time. Bing, bing, and crash. There's the front and back bumpers.
This is going to promote Nicholas Vroman up into the lead. Noah Bitts and Kevin King round out your top 3 right now. Clayton Hoffman up in 4th. Jacob Schneider, Sean Conklin, 4th through 6th. Jose Acosta, Jason Maines, Matt Hollabaugh, and Miller Bonds round out your top 10. So a lot of shakeup here at Pocono late on into this race.
The only guy who's really fallen down from where he used to be right now, who's in the top, Roman is starting where he was. He was pole, and he's back there right now.
Yeah, he had himself a bit of a rough start.
He did. He fell back a little ways. Now he's back on pole. Sean Conklin's also down 4.
Okay, hold on. Time out. Your top 3 right now. Nicholas Vroman started 1st. He's in 1st. Noah Bitts started 19th. He's up in 2nd. Kevin King started 33rd position tonight, and he's up in 3rd.
That's amazing.
Talk about survival of the fittest. Kevin King gains 30 positions, and he's got a decent chance of getting himself a good finish here if he can survive. And our producer, Austin Derbyshire, is saying he's got a good chance of winning this thing, which I can see it with how crazy this thing has gotten for the lead.
Yeah, if Roman and Bids race each other hard, which they're very likely to do, it's going to be King's race to win. Let's keep eyes on for that. Eyes out for that, I should say.
I mean, realistically, if you look at pretty much anyone in our top 10, if this thing gets crazy enough, anyone in the top 6 or so has a chance at winning this race.
Yeah, just about. And we've seen the hard racing at the front, at the back. It's been evenly distributed throughout the entire pack. So with the way that it's been going, and we have the green, white, checkered, 1 of 3 right now, for first attempt here. Green, white, checkered. It's going to be interesting to see how hard these guys race, knowing that they have a couple of chances here, but the race is going to be over one way or another.
Well, if we do get into a green-white checkered, this is going to be a natural green-white checkered here, as they're going to be coming to 2 laps to go, coming to the green flag. So this will be a natural green-white checkered for these guys. If they don't make it to the white flag, we'll be going for one more time here. So with the way the last 15-ish laps have gone, it's fair to say that we could be heading for a green-white checkered right here.
Yeah, we very well could be. It's the laps have gone either, hey, we got a nice long string going, or immediately within 1 lap, we have a yellow. And there's been 2 times during this race that we've had 2 yellows back-to-back within a lap of each other, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, and this race is actually going to go to a green-white checkered here, so this race will count as the first attempt at a green-white checkered. He's actually going to be coming.
All right. Down the line.
I'm just sitting here trying to kind of think about how this race is going to go, because you got Nicholas Vroman, your leader, Noah Bitts to his outside, Kevin King, Clayton Hoffman, your 2nd row, Jacob Schneider, Sean Conklin, your 3rd row. And like I said, realistically, anyone in your top 6 has a chance at winning this race. And if things go south, who knows who's going to win this race, as Nicholas Vroman has control of this restart. Enters the Geico restart zone. Green flag back out in the air here at Pocono Raceway, and he gets clear of Noah Bitts. Kevin King getting pushed by Jacob Schneider. Schneider takes it to the inside. Three wide for second position. Noah Bitts on the outside. Kevin King in the middle. Jacob Schneider sends the dive bomb to the inside. He keeps it straight. He's going to get a little bit of contact from Jose Acosta in the 28. They're going to be 3 wide, 2 rows deep, 3 rows deep here as Noah Bitts on the outside now has a decent run. Nicholas Roman is clear of everyone. They're going to be 3 wide down into turn number 2. Who's going to come out on top of this battle? There's going to be a little bit of contact between Jose Acosta and Sean Conklin. They're going to be wrecking off of turn number 2, as that is Jose Acosta and Jason Maines sideways as well. And this is going to be green-white checker number 2 here at Pocono Raceway.
Oh, man, what a situation. What do we call? We said we'll make it 1 lap, and there'll be a wreck. And here we go. We're now in green-white checker 2. We're going to go to 3. I'm almost certain of it. Wow. Oh, wow.
Jose Acosta with a huge hit.
Unfortunately, and it looks like another one's down.
And once again,
8 damage
to
to James
breathe.
Coulter. Yep, take another breather. Another good one.
It's
Let's
a
see that one
miracle I
again.
haven't lost my voice yet.
Yeah. Tomorrow you're going to be a wreck.
Yeah.
Big slams.
Man. A lot of hard hits. You can hear tippers starting to flare a little bit.
Well, this is a long track for green white, long track for cautions. You got the long straight, the big back stretch. Takes a long time to get around here when you're going behind the pace car. I can understand the frustration of a driver at this point who just wants to get to the end of the race in one piece. When you see wreck after wreck after wreck.
We're encroaching on the 2-hour mark. As of the last timing loop, 1 hour and 40 minutes since this race went green. That was 81 laps ago now for these guys, and it's set to be 84, or probably about 85, before this race actually finishes, as we're still 2 to green.
And you still
do not be surprised if this thing does hit the 2-hour mark.
Yeah. And you've got some folks up at the front still who've got something worth showing. Kevin King was able to avoid a lot of the wrecking going on during that last wreck. He sailed right through the middle of it.
And with that, why don't we go ahead and take a look at our schedule for the rest of, well, I guess for next week now, as this is the last broadcast of the week. If you are liking what you're seeing here, well, we got more of it. Monday night next week, Indianapolis Motor Speedway for Ryco Performance. Monday night, top split coverage for both A Open and B Open. Then Tuesday night, the Champion Power Equipment iRacing Truck Series heads across the street to IRP, Lucas Oil Indianapolis Raceway Park. And then the next night, you got the Thunderclap iRacing Series at the same place. And then Thursday night, High Slide Racing League Truck Series. That is not going to be Nashville. That is going to actually be Bristol, as due to all the issues that we had this last week, they're having to push Bristol back 1 week. So next week will actually be Bristol, not Nashville Super Speedway, just for some clarification there. And then you'll join us back here next Friday night for Ryco Performance Friday night NiS top split from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And that's actually going to be second split coverage, since that is a crown jewel full-length race from Indianapolis Motor Speedway next week.
Awesome. That's going to be great.
There's a lot of good races. A lot of good races coming up in the next week. Indianapolis back on the oval this time. So that'll be interesting to see, as it'll be the first time the next gens have gotten to run on a track like that. And also the last time the Xfinity Series was at Indianapolis, things got a little bit chippy there, as we're 1 lap to green here. It's going to be Nicholas Vroman, Kevin King, your first row, Noah Bitts and Jacob Schneider, your second row, Sean Conklin and Clayton Hoffman, your third row. But once again, next week is going to be fun. A lot of good tracks. You got the big tracks and the short tracks.
Yeah, it's going to be good to see a mix of both. It's Indianapolis week, though, so we don't have to go far for a little bit of action. If you live near Indianapolis, go watch a race. It's not too far to do a little drive and get to see some of this stuff up close and personal. And there's always races going on in the Midwest, so look up your local racetrack and go see a race today.
Yeah, I mean, I was planning on headed up to Route 66 Speedway here in the next couple of weeks up in Amarillo, Texas, and getting me some nice racing action in. They got some big money modified races coming up there in the next couple of weeks, so I get to go see me some good racing in the next couple of weeks.
I have yet to go see my first in-person race. I'm looking to do that sometime this summertime.
Go to a race. Go to a race. You will not regret it.
I will. I'm looking forward to it.
And if you can, make it out to a NASCAR race. They're always a blast. My first race was 2018 at Daytona. Actually, no, that's a lie. Or my first Cup race was 2018 Daytona. My first NASCAR race was 2011, the Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway.
Wow, okay.
Back when it was the old Texas Motor Speedway.
Well, I'll have to see. I got a bunch of short tracks around me that I can go to, and I'm in Chicago, so I got Chicagoland. And I've been missed out on the road course, but we'll see what I can see as we're coming around here on 1 to Green.
Coming to another restart here. Do they make it this time? Find out next week on Dragon Ball Z, but it's going to be Nicholas Froman leading these guys into the Geico restart zone. Great flag back out in the air here at Pocono Raceway, and Nicholas Froman does get himself a decent jump. Sean Conklin already peeking the nose to the inside, and Noah Bitts for the 3-wide move. Froman goes up to block Kevin King, and now is going to take it to the inside and have the solo lead through turns 1 and 2. 2 laps to go here at Pocono Raceway.
Here with his distance, he's got about a 2/10 lead on the rest of the pack. Kevin King, though, still with eyes on the leader, is trying to make a move. He's closing the distance now. A little bit more down to the inside, still holding it clean, going through the tunnel turn down toward Milwaukee.
They make it through turn 2 cleanly this time. Nicholas Froman through turn 3 here. Coming to the white flag. Does he make it to that glorious white flag? They're going to be 3 wide. He's going to be breaking the draft from Kevin King. White flag in the air here at Pocono. This race is official, and now they're going to be racing back to the checkered flag. Nicholas Froman trying to break the draft. Kevin King has the draft. Jacob Snyder's in this race as well. You got a 3-horse race for the win here at Pocono Raceway. Kevin King gets a little bit tight through turn 1. Off of turn number 1, he has the draft. Froman goes down to break the draft, and now Kevin King having to block Jacob Schneider. Kevin King to the inside, and Nicholas Froman down into turn number 2. Side by side for the lead. Turn number 2, Kevin King has the nose. He's clear of the 95 of Nicholas Froman. Now Jacob Schneider to the inside of the 95. Kevin King starting to run away from this one. Does Jacob Schneider have the momentum? Does he have what it takes? He tries the dive bomb. It's not going to stick. What is going to happen? Coming to the line off of turn number 3. Kevin King is going to win one here at Pocono.
And it's almost a photo finish for second, as it looks like Nicholas Froman is going to take second place. Jacob Schneider, third.
Jacob Schneider by 4/100ths of a second finishes third place in this race. Nicholas Froman in second, and Kevin King survives 33rd to 1st to win here at Pocono Raceway.
What a charge. 33-1. That's got to be some of the... I was watching other Pocono races, and I've seen where you had a series of yellows. You got some opportunistic drivers. They were getting up into the double digits. I had yet to see a 30-place jump for first place here at Pocono. And that's the first time I've seen that.
What a finish to this race.
Beautiful.
Cannot get any better than that. I am going to be paying for this tomorrow with my voice.
I think you are. I was almost cynical enough to believe that we were going to have maybe another yellow, but we didn't. The guys kept it clean. They all wanted to go home.
Kevin King with the Denny Hamlin moment slams it in the outside wall doing his burnouts. And once again.
Well, you know, the race is over, so you might as well have some fun, right?
And in this Ryco performance winning moment, you get to watch Kevin King burn it down here at Pocono. But with that, We're going to take our final commercial break of the night. Stay right here. We'll bring you through some post-race coverage and hopefully some post-race interviews from Pocono Raceway. And we welcome you back here to Pocono Raceway for some unofficial race results. Kevin King leads one lap on the night, and it ends up being the most important lap on the night. He takes the win here at Pocono. Nicholas Vroman in that second spot. Jacob Schneider in third. Sean Conklin was the dominating car of the night, leading 61, but ends up in fourth position. Noah Bitts comes home in the top five. Tommy Goss at sixth. Matt Hollaball in seventh. Clayton Hoffman in eighth. Shane Parrish in ninth. And Joshua Watson rounds out your top 10.
Here in 11th is Cody Terlind, 12th, Miller Bonds, 13th, Thomas Komacheski, 14th, Maggie McGuire, 15th, Jason Maines, 16th, Nicholas Padovich, 17th, Johnny Baldridge, 18th, Austin Fitzgerald, 19th, Vincent Crow, and 20th, James Holzer.
In that 21st spot here tonight, Kyle Trudell, Jose Acosta in 22nd, Daniel Nandy 23rd, Patrick Gitter 24th, Nolan Hodson in 25th, Shane Davis 26th, Roger Pierce 27th, Joseph at 28th was Louis Bezerra, Joseph at 29th, 30th was Garrett Maines, and rounding out the rest of your field, Alan Pajari, Paul Bergoli, Sean Rogers, Bailey Gelinas, Matt Cox, and Zach Rinker in 36th. And that is going to do it for our race results. And for the moment, we're only going to have the one post-race interview. It is going to be your second place finisher of Nicholas Vroman. Nicholas Vroman, how are you doing tonight?
Doing all right. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. You ended up second position here tonight after getting passed late by Kevin King there. How are you feeling after that one?
It was a race, I can tell you that. Yeah, he just had such a big fucking run out of one into the tunnel. He's about a half car in front of us. I maybe could have pinched him a little harder, but looking back, that's probably what I should have done. But, hindsight's going for me.
Yeah, fair enough. You end up coming home second position tonight at what is a pretty tough track to, defend from the draft ad. And before we let you go, who do you got to thank? Who gets it done for you?
Shout out to Ken and Jacob, man. They put in a lot of work on these sets, so shout out to them guys and shout out to you guys and do.
Well, thank you for taking the time to interview with us, Nicholas Vroman, and hopefully we'll get to see you next week.
All right, later.
That was Nicholas Vroman, your second place finisher, and we actually do have your race winner, Kevin King. Kevin, how are you doing tonight?
Well, I'm doing amazing. How about you guys?
Well, I figured you would be doing pretty good after winning a thriller like that there at the end, and you went from 33rd to 1st. How?
Well, the yellows obviously helped. Me going through my pit stop like 14 times didn't help, but the car was a rocket ship. I think once I had about 5 laps, I felt really, really good after that point. Got up the track a little bit and I was able to kind of get through the corners a little bit better, but I felt like the long runs were really super super quick. That was my strong suit, I felt like, and I just had to survive the first 5 laps. But yeah, you know, it's tough. You got a lot of guys in the same setups out there. Really hard to make passes. You kind of had to send it on some people and hope you cleared, or just kind of choose lines correctly. It's really like a super speedway with this thing, and I was fortunate at the end. Kind of the seas parted in front of me and gave me a couple spots. And you know, coming off I guess it's 1 now. Coming off of 1, I figured I had a pretty good line. I felt really comfortable running that line, and I thought if he just got a little loose off of 1, I could capitalize, and he did. And then he was going to give me the outside, and I was like, that's fine. And I just crossed him over and pretty much side drafted him all the way through, and I was pretty confident all the way through turn 2 to kind of make that stick. So yeah, pretty pumped. I haven't won a NiS race in a long time. I don't run many opens, so this is pretty fun.
I was going to say, that is, I believe, this season at least, the first broadcasted race I think you've won. So congratulations on that aspect. But before we let you go celebrate this big win, who do you got to thank? Who gets it done for you?
Yeah, I definitely got to thank the guys at Team Conti. They put together a rocket ship. I've been helping them through RTP and try to help Mike the best I can, and decided that I would try to run this tonight. I like Pocono a lot. It's one of my favorite tracks, and it was a really good opportunity for me to just kind of get in here and run some laps and give him some feedback. But yeah, those guys do a great job over there. They have a really good bunch of guys that kind of have their following. So happy to help them. But yeah, you know, I wasn't aware that this stuff was broadcasted. Adam sent me the link. I was like, oh, I didn't know this was broadcasted. So, you know, kudos to you guys for doing this stuff. I know it's a lot of work doing broadcasts and whatnot. So I definitely will be a follower at that point, because you know, I don't do a lot of NISs in general, especially on Fridays. But I'll definitely make sure if I don't race that I'll watch the broadcasts and give you guys a follow and make sure I'm tuning in. But thank you guys as well.
Well, thank you, Kevin King, for taking the time to interview us, and let's go celebrate that win. Congratulations tonight.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
That was Kevin King, your race winner here from Pocono Raceway. And before we get going here tonight, Joe, any final thoughts from you? We haven't gotten to hear from you in a while.
Oh, it's all good. I've just been soaking it in. I've been soaking in Kevin King's amazing charge up to the win. Been soaking in Vroman going from pole to just second positions. It's interesting. We had a guy go from first to second, and the guy from first was up from 33rd. Like, it was just a real, what a race tonight. Just a beautiful race. I'm just still breathing out from that.
And before we get going here tonight, we're going to go ahead and get another look at our weekly schedule for next week. Of course, Monday night, we got Ryco Performance Monday night top split coverage. Oh, and but as I was saying, we got Ryco Performance Monday night top split from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's going to be A car and B car coverage there from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Then Tuesday night, you got the Champion Power Equipment Truck Series from Indianapolis Raceway Park, better known as IRP. And of course, Thunderclap iRacing Series on Wednesday night from the same place at IRP. And then Thursday, still not confirmed whether it's going to be Bristol or Nashville, but we will have High Slide Racing League Truck Series action from wherever they decide to go on Thursday night at 8:20 Eastern. And then Friday night, we got Ryco Performance second split coverage of NiS from Indianapolis Motor Speedway. That's one of the crown jewels, so we'll be covering the second split there, as iRacing will be doing the top split coverage. But that will do it for us here tonight from GridVision. If you are interested on getting your league broadcasted here on GridVision, go ahead and contact us on Facebook, X, or email us at info@gridvision.live. Special thanks to Andrew Cardinal IV of Whiplash Sim Cams for providing the great cams you saw here tonight. And congratulations to Kevin King from winning from Pocono Raceway in the Friday night NiS top split coverage presented by Ryco Performance. But that will do it for us here tonight, and we'll catch you next time on the grid.